Hey guys, and you join us back with the £250 budget track build MR2, and that was the purchase price of this car with no engine. And we bought a donor car, which was Donald the Donor, and we are taking the engine out of this, and anything we don't keep is going up for sale to go towards the budget for the track build. Now we stripped the engine down, put new gaskets on, and we have completely refreshed the engine thanks to minor MJG grit. And now we've got the engine refreshed. It is now time to get this engine in the car that hasn't been in for 15 years.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the MR2 track build. And yes, we really haven't got much time to talk today. We've got to get this engine inside this MR2 because the hill climb is just in a few weeks. And the engine's the easy part. We've got to build the rest of the car. So for now, we've got the car up in the air. We're going to wheel that around there and go and put it in. So we've got most of the engine together. There is a few little bits and pieces we do need to change once it's in there, but the main bits that we can't really get to when the engine's inside is all done. We're not going to put the sandwich plate in for now. We can change that as a later date, but the first thing we want to get done is just get this engine in, make sure it all runs, everything's good to go, and then that way we can then add on the little bits. This is only temporary, as you can see, not all the bolts are all in there, and there's a few little hoses, but we can get these from the top of the engine bay. But the main thing is I just want to get this engine inside the chassis as I fall over everything. Inside is now satin black. Need to put another coat on that just yet, but that is all now satin black. There's going to be alley check, not alley check, but just an alley plate over the doors on the inside. We've put the fuel tank in underneath now. As you can see, all the pipes and everything are back in. Fuel tank was a little bit of a pig to do on my own. Got the crane at the back here, lifting the car up, as you can see. And then we have got to put new suspension on, but for now, we're gonna just whip these hubs off, put on our new hubs, take these calipers off, just so we can get it at least rolling, because we haven't got the coilovers just yet, because we've got to get this over, and Martin's going to do these rear pockets for us, but we need to get the lump in this big hole here. So that's what we're going to concentrate on today. So let's crack on.
So as you can see here, I am actually inside the engine bay, and that is because I am literally connecting all of these fuel pipes back up. A lot of the things that people don't see on a lot of builds, because especially on YouTube, people just go, yep, done. But these, all the fuel pipes got a wire in, and there's so many little pipes, brake lines, other fuel lines, breather pipes, you name it, there's loads of it. So we're just literally putting all those back together, sorting out all the loom over there as well. There's a lot of, it's a bit like spaghetti junction over here, but we've got a nice powder coated pipe there. And yes, there is a black spray there, and that is because where they put the roll cage in, they just put some black spray. So I'll probably just leave that, because there's going to be an airbox completely over that side anyway, so you probably won't see that. Same with that side, but again, whatever. It's a track car, so we're not going to go too fussy, but this was handy to get done anyway because it was a little bit rusty. So let's crack on with all these little jobs, and then eventually, rather than me being in here, the engine will be in there.
So now with the fuel tank in, we're just putting on the rest of the pipes and the heat shields over, which look incredible inside that engine bay, especially with that fuel filler pipe. And then we're just going to jack up the car a little bit more and pull this engine underneath. Now the engine is underneath the car, we can now lower the car onto the engine, so we can put the engine mount in and line them all up. Now this was actually a really fiddly job on my own, and I probably should have waited for some assistance. Fortunately, there is some neighbours here, and Adam kindly helped us out, and we managed to actually get the engine mount and the gearbox mount all lined up, and it fits in this engine bay lovely. So now our process is to get this engine started.
And yes, the engine is back inside the car. For the first time in 15 years, this actual car hasn't had an engine. So for the first time, it has finally got an engine in, and even better than its original, because it was 150 horsepower, and now hopefully it's going to be around 250, if not closer to the 300 horsepower. We're just going to put it back to the sort of standard way with a few little bolt-on mods that Donald the Donor had. And if you haven't seen that video, then go and check out my last videos. But that is how we're going to tune this car for now. And why? That's so we can test it on the road to make sure it all runs safe, the gearbox and everything is smooth, no oil leaks, etc. And we've got, if we go more power, we've got to change the way the coils are on, and I've got to do so many little more bolt-ons, and I'm running out of time. So for now, the main goal is to get this ready for food and fuel. And if we don't win that one, then you know what's coming after that. There will be a proper rematch on a proper track, because a sprint hill climb, that's great, but it would be nice to have head-to-head with the MX-5 on the track and see what they're both capable of. And when it comes to that, I will push this to its absolute max in terms of this budget build anyway. So for now, we're going to get this boot mount intercooler done. We're going to start putting all the subframe stuff underneath, get the exhaust on. So let's crack on with that and get this engine finally started for the first time. Well, the engine started, but the engine in this car for the first time in 15 years.
So underneath the car, just literally putting on the exhaust hangers so we can mount that exhaust, the HKS Silent High Power.
And here is the side that people don't see, which is, for example, rebuilding, covered in dog hair, damn you Buzz, literally rebuilding this whole drive shaft, because this gator had completely collapsed and then the inside was a little bit dry. So we've replaced, or we're going to replace the gator, and also when we undone this whole section, all the casing and the ball bearings then come out. So we had to completely rebuild it, all new grease in there. And we've done the same the other side as well.
And underneath, we've done the other offside drive shaft already. That is now all in. We can get the brackets put back in, get the drive shaft on the other side in, and also I'm going to have to temporarily put the electronic speedo sensor in there, because I need a cable one, because this is a cable driven speedo on the car. And then we can top up the oil, top up the engine oil, do a couple more pipes, and get this engine turned over. This is still loose, so it will, if it does turn over, it's going to sound as blowy as anything, because this was just test fitting, because I've got to take this off and heat wrap it as well.
So we're currently just putting the last bits back together to make this engine run. This is not going to be how we're going to have it forever. There's a few things that we're going to have to change, but the first thing is get it started, get it running, and then see how it performs normally on a road, and possibly go to the food and fuel vent on a sort of standard power. We got the Miller's oil there, the 540. It's good race oil, so we're going to be putting that in very shortly. Put a few pipes back together, dizzy cap and the coils, the coil leads, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, this will start. I've got to obviously put some fuel in. Everything's all in place. Underneath all the drive shafts and hubs, we've still got the standard shocks, and we've got to sort the calipers out just yet. That subframe there, ready to bolt in. Again, like we said, just waiting for the heat wrap for the exhaust, but that will do for a test. And all the manifold brackets and everything are all nicely underneath. So we're going to try and put this oil filter on very quickly, because it's that way anyway, so chances are the oil I just put in is literally just going to go all over the engine. But it's always good to put a little bit in the filter, and then just put a little bit of oil around these seals, and that just helps it not be too dry where it's surfaced. Now with filters, when you put them on, don't do them up like a hero. You really don't need to. You can just do them hand tight. That's not a problem. That's what the seal's there for, and that's why we lubricate the seal. Can't really get to these filters very well. Come and have a look where these filters are. Line's not the best, but yeah, just down there. See that there? That's where the filter is, just by the yellow dipstick. Not the best place to put a filter, right next to the exhaust, but hey ho, it's got to go somewhere, right? Now I think these take around 4.1 litres. So I'm going to stick in about 3.5, see how we go. Now, if we put it sideways like that, it won't leak everywhere. So it is super, super hot outside. As you can see, I look like a sweaty mess. But that doesn't stop what I'm doing today. And that is because we have bodged the intercooler. This is an intercooler from like a S-Max or something. Here's the intercooler that we're going to have in the boot. But I just wanted to see if it did start on the first try. We've got a load of things not quite plugged in or plumbed up yet. The throttle cable's not actually plumbed in yet. There's a few things, but less waffle. You don't want to hear that. Let's see if this starts. Fingers crossed. All oil's in there. Let's do this. Brilliant. Now, I will warn you guys, the exhaust isn't connected all up yet, so it's going to be just from downpipe. It's not quite together, basically. It's going to be probably quite noisy. That's even if it gets that far. I'm kind of nervous, I'm not going to lie. Let's excuse the mess. It's like a bomb's gone off in here. If any of you have done projects, you'll understand. Let's turn the key. We've got ignition lights, so it's priming. Okay, so I don't know if we've got fuel or spark or what. We've got no coolant in the car at the moment, but the good thing is it's cranking over. Okay, so it smells like we've got fuel, but I don't think we've got a spark. I will check when I pull the plugs out, but at the moment I know there is a earth missing, and also there is this coil pack earth missing, which I've luckily just found from Donald the Donor. I literally thought it was gone, so that would have been really annoying because it plugs in as well. I probably could have just disconnected the earth from the loom, but I'd rather not. Luckily we've got this. So let's put these on, see what happens. So as you can hear, it is turning over, but obviously it's not firing. Now what you didn't see, which actually we didn't get recorded on camera, is actually James Wotherspoon helping me, and huge thank you, by the way. And we just went round to see if we got a spark, we got fuel. We had a really strong spark, should have got that on camera. We literally just took the spark lead up and away, pulled the plug out, put that against obviously an earth on the body, which we just used part of the engine, and we saw the spark. We're not getting any fuel, so what we did is we went inside the car just here, and let me turn you around. So inside the car, here is the fuel, that's the fuel pump wiring, that's the fuel sender. So what James and I did was put a permanent 12 feed, which is the jumper pack. We put a wire to that, and then the fuel pump was working, because thank God, because the fuel pump runs along the middle, and I thought I was going to have to undo all of the heat shield, all the pipes again, drain the fuel, because obviously I put some fresh fuel in there, and then drop the tank. Luckily the pump is still working, but we're not getting any power to the pump. So when we start it with the fuel pump wired in, it is running perfectly. We didn't get that caught on camera, and also the wires we put to the jump pack were getting very hot, so we didn't want to risk a fire hazard while trying to record it. So what I'm going to do now, I've looked into something here, and you see that plug just here, this guy here actually, this is not plugged into anything. Now on this loom it has been cut. I did cut some more back, but what I've traced is there's a wire here that apparently loops with the wire from here, which completes the circuit and then runs up the tunnel and goes to there. So that is our next step. We're going to trace the wires back from the old cut loom, plug it in there, and fingers crossed. And as you can see here, here is the cut loom that was cut, and these are all just speaker wires and amplifier wires, same as these over here. But we've got this guy here that I've just started cutting back, and this is the one that apparently is to do with the fuel pump, and it is literally just one little pin
On the turbo models, this will have more because I think it's due to the speedo cluster. It's got the gear speedo sensor loom that goes back to the cluster. It's also got some other stuff that goes back to the cluster that's slightly different on the UK models, but this one is for the fuel pump. So we're going to just cut that back and then we're going to rewire this wire, and fingers crossed that is the problem. Ignition on. Oh dear, the wipers are on, it's all going down. Woo! That was not part of the filming. You ready? Yes! Mate, I spent all night looking for the wiring diagram for that loop. Now it's going to sound very loud, we've got no exhaust, so I'm not going to keep it running long because we've got no coolant in the car at the moment. But, oh mate, yes. I want to share it with someone, but on my own, so I'm sharing it with you guys. This is the first time this car's had an engine in 15 years, and it is firing up, and she is getting ready for that blue exhaust bed. I am buzzing. Let's give it a little rev. Alright, that'll do it. Right, so now the next step is we're going to put the subframe on. We're going to get the exhaust on properly because the heat rat's arrived as well. I am buzzing for this. One little wire that was, one wire. I can't believe that has actually worked. I didn't think that was going to work. I wasn't even prepped for it. The camera's positioning was awful. I just thought it's probably not going to start and I'm probably going to have to cut it. So I can't even talk properly. I'm so excited. And that was literally because of that loom, and it was basically that wasn't completing the circuit. So I needed that tiny little wire there, and that completed the circuit for the fuel pump. So I'm absolutely buzzing. So now we can actually build the rest of the car back together, put the proper intercooler back, get the subframe on, get it over to Martin's, get that welding done. This is going to make food and fuel. I generally am so excited. I didn't think this was going to quite make it, so I'm super happy. The engine's running. Everything else now is literally just bolting back together, and then yeah, I'm buzzing. So let's crack on. Let's use this energy and get this car built. So now I've grabbed the subframe and I've got a little bit too excited using that energy, and I have actually put the anti-roll bar already on, so I've had to undo that, and that's because I need to get the exhaust downpipe through where that subframe is, and that anti-roll bar, as you can see there, it just slides through. Now I'm using the jack here just to jack up the subframe to mount up to the chassis, because I am doing this alone like a one-man band, so yeah, it's a little bit more difficult, so thanks Jack for your assistance. Now the subframe is all mounted up, I've now got to just put that engine mount in at the back that I actually forgot to put in. Again, I got so excited, I just wanted to get it all together, but the engine mount went in fine. I'm just lining up the exhaust downpipe here because there is a bracket that supports it from the subframe. That's a little bit difficult and did get a little bit caught, but that's all in. And as you can see, I've turned you round, and once again, and we are actually putting in the lower arms here. A little bit fiddly. I keep adjusting you because I keep hitting you with a pry bar. I do apologise, but this was a little bit fiddly, but look how good those lower arms look. And now one side is done, we do exactly the same the other side. This side was a little bit more fiddly. I made the schoolboy error of putting in this end first on both sides, and what I should have done is mounted the subframe end in first and then put the other end into the chassis. It's a little bit easier because lining up the bolts into the subframe are very difficult. It's a very fine thread, but we live and learn. I've done this quite a lot of times. I should have known this, but there we go. So guys, if you are putting those lower arms in, always put the one in the subframe first, then use the jack the other end. It makes life so much easier because then you avoid all of this. And as you can see from all the time lapse in there, that side was a pig to get on.
Polybush is not helping, but we managed to get it in the end, as you saw. And then we just mounted the rest of that the other side, and now we've just got to put the back box on.
So guys, that is it for today's video, and as you can see, I am buzzing. The car is running and there is still a lot to do, but you will see that in the next video. This intercooler will be going, we'll be putting the boot mount intercooler in and making a nice setup in there. We're going to be getting the wheels changed, well the colour changed at least, and then we're going to be putting that red roll cage back inside and getting this car complete for that food and fuel event, which is coming up very soon. So if you'd like this video, give us a thumbs up. Like, comment and subscribe. Your comments mean the world to me and I read through every single one, so hit them comments down below and we'll see you on the next one. See you later.